Hello and welcome back to Archaeological Fallacies. Since the first video dropped last week, I've had several questions along the line of, Mr. Soup, are you okay? You seem angry at the state of UK archaeology, and I wouldn't say that I'm angry so much as disappointed. I love being an archaeologist. I love learning more every day about both studying the past and how people lived in the past. I love working with fellow archaeologists. I love how other archaeologists think about the world and bringing and synthesizing together all sorts of different knowledge to ever improve our ability to talk about the past. I love talking to the public about the past, and that's really where Archaeological Fallacy number 2 comes in. This week's video is about the simultaneous issue of both wanting and being slightly wary of input from the public. Archaeologists are often eager to get the public involved in archaeological excavations, for example, as volunteers or as stakeholders. You often hear about archaeologists wanting support in terms of memberships for institutions or donations for post-ex work, or writing to your local MP, for example, a couple of years ago when some archaeological university departments were at risk of closing, or indeed did close. But there's also a slightly snide tendency that archaeologists have to not want those people too close to what archaeologists do and how we do it. It comes really to the fore when we are asking the public for support, and then we get anxious when people actually want to go above and beyond for archaeology. I'm thinking about a couple of years ago now, the university's threat, the department in Sheffield and some other places, where some people were so concerned they actually started their own campaign. I forgot what his name is now, but it was called Save British Archaeology. It was a campaign specifically linked with the threat to academic departments. And the moment it came up, archaeologists reacted quite badly to it. Andy and I have covered this on Watching Brief, and we've published on this, so in that sense we nailed down these facts. In that sense, we're very confident in them. But there was suddenly a conversation between people at the CBA, people at University Archaeology UK University, the group that ties together different archaeological university departments, and a few other people, to say, who is this guy? Why is this guy talking about UK archaeology in universities? Oh my goodness, he has a PayPal on his website. This could be anyone. And then sending round essentially defamatory information about this person, stoking up and actually scaring off archaeologists from supporting the campaign, and pointing out, for example, when he made a mistake. He went on Neil Oliver's GB News TV show, but then again, lots of actually far left-wing pundits turn up on that show and tear the presenters a new orifice quite regularly. So I don't think going on that news channel was the end of the world, but it was quite clear that we don't like it. Archaeologists don't like it when someone else actually steps up and actually starts doing these things. And actually what happened was, not only were people essentially scared off supporting that campaign, and actually he got to a point where he's just like, I don't want anything to do with this. Y'all are toxic, he said about archaeologists. But it was done specifically and explicitly because, for example, the CBA, the Council for British Archaeology, said they had their own strategy. They had their own voice that they wanted to use, and they didn't want someone else muddying the waters. They wanted to have a clear, concise message, and well, it kind of didn't happen, did it? And that's sort of part 2 of this video, and that is claiming the voice but not using it. And this is where it's actually there's a connection to last week's video, Archaeological Fallacy number 1. I understand wanting to have your expertise respected. I understand believing that you have the best way to explain how you do what you do and why that's beneficial, and therefore why it should be culturally supported and economically supported. I understand those instincts. But you've got to do it. You've actually got to do it. You can't just scare other people off from doing this sort of thing, this sort of work, this sort of outreach, this sort of consistent, essentially campaigning on your behalf and for you, and then not follow through yourself. It's a logical fallacy. It's an archaeological fallacy. It's one of the most frustrating things from my perspective, because yeah, that's fantastic. If you want that voice, if you feel the need to claim that voice, wonderful, but don't waste it. Don't just then back off from important issues that turn up where your voice would be welcome. Don't let people down. I've several people actually at the time were saying to me how actually the silence was deafening from CBA and others. They welcomed at the time, I think, the Dig for Archaeology campaign as essentially as a media outreach tool. They didn't really acknowledge it as an actual campaign, and that was about it. And I had people talking, reaching out to me, students, colleagues, and others, saying, "What are you doing? What are they doing? What's going on?" And that's also part of it. If you're going to claim this voice, then you need to also talk to other archaeologists so that they don't get frustrated or concerned that you're just sitting on your hands. Anyway, that's probably going to lead into archaeological fallacy number 3. And yeah, this week not so much cathartic as I think just important to acknowledge that I agree that I think recently it's pointed out on Twitter, someone was saying that archaeology needs strong, independent and approachable voices on these sorts of matters, but we need to be aware of how to use our voice, what independence actually means, and the extent to which we are representing and open to a wide range of voices. And that's in terms of ethnic background, cultural interests, academic interests, financial background, class background, educational background, age, gender, sex, self-identified sex, so on and so forth. It needs to be a forum where people feel that they can contribute, be heard, and crucially see things happening, as opposed to just being told, no, shh, no, it's okay, we've got this, it's okay, it's fine, and then just drifting off into the night. Anyway, no, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.